Live from New York. Show that might be back on the Magic fandom trend.
This guy.
Why?
He's such a
Who's
phony.
the Magic person on the show?
You.
You can have
You
him.
can have him. That's
take
fine.
it. Enjoy.
But you also told us last week, wow, we
I like
giant
this.
graphics on
I
the giant
love this.
screen right there. It's
Let
very
the
distracting.
Rockets
Holy
win
moly.
Game 5.
Yeah,
you're
back
out.
on
I
I
was
am
gonna
on the Rockets.
What?
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yes.
You,
You
got the,
said
okay.
you can't keep changing your opinion
Well, I'm
from
the
the
Lakers
morning.
guy.
From this morning.
I don't know how
said-
Gianna edited it.
No, I haven't even watched the walk-in. I'm talking about on our production call this morning. You were saying horrible things about the
Yeah,
Rockets.
you were absolutely done with the Rockets.
Okay, I know it might be confusing for the audience. Every horrible thing I said about the Rockets, I stand by 100%. However, I still am rooting for them.
Okay.
But they are a terrible, poorly constructed team that does silly things. And while I was watching the games, I felt like I was being punished.
But you're rooting for
They
it.
are a comedy of errors.
Oh, it's painful.
You could just go to
Meanwhile,
the
they
record
won
and pick
last
6
night.
guys, and that'd be the Rockets. Just say, come on, let's play.
First hour of First Things First. You're in for a real treat this show. Today, no joking matter. Joker takes offense to the Game
That's the
4
fastest
ending.
he's moved all series.
Really?
Does his season
Now you're
end
upset?
tonight? I know. Meanwhile, Chiefs draft defense, but some reports say Patrick Mahomes also got the NFL's next Calvin Johnson. It's a true story that's out there. Might be better than
I
Calvin
tell you
Johnson.
what, he was intriguing. I can't lie.
And finally,
My
Wemby is
goodness.
back. How confident
Oh boy.
is Brew now that
Oh,
the
boy.
Spurs went through a little bit of adversity?
I mean, what's not to like?
Alongside Nick Wright, I'm Kevin Wilds. Brew, how are you feeling about your Spurs?
Pretty darn good.
Really?
Pretty darn.
He should be.
What's not to like?
Wemby looks
concussion
great.
protocol.
I
I'll
guess
tell
the
you that.
playoffs are really a problem for Wemby, right?
Well,
If you're in
let's see him in the
Portland against the
playoffs.
play-in team.
Portland, this was a great first-round opponent. A good job, Portland.
Exactly.
Good little test.
All right, we're starting in Houston. Kevin Durant watches
There he is.
the Rockets
Right.
avoid a
I was
sweep.
wondering
He's
where
having
he
a
was.
blast.
Wow.
Game 4.
I'm glad
Where's
to see
the
them
underwater
smiling.
treadmill when you need it?
Is that what they was?
Yeah,
It an
underwater treadmill.
Oh, that's what he was
That's
doing.
what he was
game
doing.
3.
Underwater
Okay.
treadmill.
He's soaked. Anyways, DeAndre Ayton ejected for an elbow to Şengün's dome, and after a virtuoso performance in Game
Maybe the
4,
worst playoff game of his life.
LeBron just had 10 and 8, 8 turnovers. That is. Here's Şengün on the motivational speech he gave before the game.
I had a good talk, I think, and after the talk, our man was telling me that she really motivated me, and then I was like, my English was good, and then he said, you messed up 1 point. Well, I don't care. So, he said, I don't care. I still understand you. It's hard to talk to another language, but I try. I try every day. I don't give a. What I'm saying. End of the day, they understand me, and I'm happy with that.
Winning cures all.
Oh, yeah.
What was your number one takeaway from the Rockets-Lakers weekend?
I mean, the thing I will remember from this weekend, far and away more than I think anything else about this series, down the road, is what I thought was one of the coolest sequences in sports history, or Friday night.
Sports history.
It's just a moment in time.
Let 'em have it.
The idea that you could have in the same game that, in my opinion, the greatest player of all time, in everyone's opinion, one of the 2 greatest players of all time, hit a game-tying, overtime-forcing 3, that earlier in that game, he threw an alley-oop to his son that was the midst of a 10-0 James family run. LeBron with the Toronto bank shot, then his son with the 3, then the LeBron to Bronny alley-oop, then LeBron with the leaning 3. In the game that broke the Rockets, won the series, and, basically, in my opinion, finalized one of the biggest, and this is an opinion, first-round upsets in NBA history, which it was, just by Vegas odds, bro.
I don't care what Vegas says.
Okay, well, it was.
Kevin Durant's not playing. I mean, biggest upsets in history. They're the 4th seed. They got home court advantage.
It was a series that I don't actually think, I thought the Lakers could win. I don't think it is some crazy upset. What I was saying there is just when you look at the biggest upsets as far as what the favorite was, how big of a favorite you were going into a series, this is the third biggest first-round upset ever. That's just what it would be.
Well, what? Okay.
It's just what it would be.
According to Vegas.
Durant.
Not everybody measures everything by Vegas.
I'm not.
Vegas.
Right, but I'm just by that. I mean, that's fine. But by the betting odds, one of the biggest upsets ever. You had this player do that in that moment Friday night. I thought it was one of the coolest things ever. The other thing that my takeaway is the Rockets should be ashamed for how they lost Game 3 because it could have been a series. And it should have been a series because Lakers not being up for Game 4 and the lack of rest between the games and the Lakers' shortened rotation, all of that was going to catch them at any point. And last but not least, Brew, and then I'll give it to you, I think the loss in Game 4, because it delays round 2 a bit and it makes it to where Austin Reeves' first game back is not against Oklahoma City, but I think will be Wednesday night. I think the loss Sunday night ultimately is actually good for the Lakers. So those are my takeaways from this weekend.
Look, I think the moments between LeBron and Bronny were fantastic. Just cool, to use your word. That was great to see. Otherwise, I think you wildly overstated, this whole series and weekend. I don't think it was great what LeBron did at the end of the game, slapping the ball away from Reed Shepherd, then hitting the three. I don't even think this is that big. This isn't on how low do I go on LeBron's list of career highlights before I get to this. I mean, it's a first-round game against a fifth seed. I just don't think it was, but it was a great performance by LeBron down the stretch. So my big takeaways are, one, kind of what you mentioned. Number one, and this is no revelation, the word I'm looking for, foolishness of the Rockets.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Dusty, if we can get this, I didn't ask for this video. The way they lost that game, you're right. I mean, if they win Game 3, maybe the Lakers come in hot and ready to,
But
close
maybe
out.
not because
who knows? It was a
rest.
one-game rest. But this very easily could be 2-2.
Yeah.
And should be, when you're up 6
with 30
seconds, 25 seconds left, there's no way to lose. And Reed Shepherd, I don't know if we can throw it up, when LeBron slaps the ball away from him. And Şengün is wide open. Şengün's man doubles Shepherd. Instead of just passing to Şengün, he tries to split the double team. Great play by LeBron to knock it away and hit the three. And moments before this Jason Tate fouling Marcus Smart on the three-point attempt. Just absolute foolishness on the part of the Houston Rockets. So that's number one. Then number two, greatness from LeBron, and it was interesting because that game, Nick, the Lakers were in control early in the fourth, and then LeBron had 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter, the last 10 minutes of the game, or the regulation, that enabled the Rockets to kind of pull away and look like they're going to win, and then he comes back with the heroics at the end of the game, which was fantastic. But to your point, it's interesting to me that obviously Game 4 was LeBron's worst game. 10 points, 2 of 9 shooting, 8 turnovers. It's probably not a coincidence that they came after one day's rest, right? LeBron is still, I think he's smarter than ever as far as a player, and he's always been a very smart player. I think he's smarter than ever. I think he's as skilled, at least as skilled. He's probably a better three-point shooter than he's ever been, but he's at least as skilled as he's ever been. So with his smarts and skill, he can go put up huge numbers, his normal numbers, but the body, as much as he's defied Father Time, it still is not what he used to be. And so he 100%. Needs some rest.
Needs rest
he needs
or
some gaps.
To be the number 2 option.
And that's why I think as the playoffs go on, now getting Luke and Reeves back will help, but if he weren't getting them back on, as the playoffs going, you get 1 day rest, he would run out of gas. So that was interesting. But I thought those are kind of my takeaways from this.
What was your takeaway on Durant? He wasn't there. There was an element, people were throwing around the Q word that he perhaps quit on the team, but then he was there for Game 4, and he seemed to be giving people high fives. And
listen, I think we're going to talk more Durant later, I know. I think it's on the board that he's played his last game with the Rockets. We're going to discuss that later. But you guys both, I am not trying at all to use because I know you're not a gambler. Vegas as like this, they are the truth teller of the world. But I am the level of the Lakers have no chance to the Rockets are crying frauds. Switch up by folks worldwide has been jarring to me. Now, Brew, you said after Game 1, if Durant's out, I've got the Lakers.
Right.
Not a lot of people said that. Going into the series, it was not, well, Durant's just so good. Mm-hmm. It was the Rockets have 5 of the 6 best players. We saw this Rockets team win 50-some games, be the 2 seed last year without Kevin Durant. Now, again, not the exact same team. I get that. There's those injuries, but we knew those injuries ahead of time. After Game 1 of the series, on this show, Rockets blowout from KW. Danny saying it was just shot luck. And the Rockets have been favored in every game of this series.
Have they really?
Yeah.
They
were favored by
in Game 2 with Durant coming back at home.
And then they were favored. They've been favored in every game. So what is a little frustrating to me is before the series started, one guy, Mark Spears, our friend, from ESPN had 13 experts. One guy picked the series for the Lakers, and we were all kind of surprised anyone picked the series for the Lakers. And now, instead of it being J.J. Redick, Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart, all raising their game, LeBron, again, Game 4 was awful by all accounts. Doing
Game 3
it,
was great.
It's that the Rockets are just, and they were the number 6 team in the league in net rating this year. They won 50 games for the second straight year. Some of the Rockets looking bad is the Lakers making them look bad.
It's true.
And I'm not saying you're doing this, Brew, but the revisionist history in some quarters of, we knew this Rockets team wasn't for real. Like, did we? When people thought it was going to be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep? I don't know that we thought that. And I don't think, to my eye, Kevin Durant, had he played I think the Rockets have played their best games. Their 2 best games of the series have been the games 3 and 4 without Durant. Mm-hmm. They played better in that than they did in Game 2 with Durant.
I agree. Honestly, in hindsight, I think even if Durant plays, the Lakers win this series.
Wow.
Because LeBron is still better than Durant. He does more. And then the vibes, LeBron's obviously a better leader. His team has great vibes. Durant's doesn't. And so I actually wonder, look, I am not going to accuse Kevin Durant of quitting. He showed that he is a warrior when he went out there for Golden State on that bad calf and tore his Achilles. So I'm not accusing him of that. But I don't like that he wasn't on the bench for Game 3. And I mean, was he doing underwater training, treadmill? You got a couple days after that game to do some stuff, right? I just think these guys grew up looking up to Kevin Durant. And whatever he did with the burner account, regardless, they still probably want his affirmation. They still want to impress him. He's Kevin freaking Durant, all right? They still want to show him they can play. They need his support. And for him not to be there, whether it was his decision, whoever's decision it was, to me, that is terrible. He should have been on the bench.
Head to Minnesota.
I agree with you 100%.
Where a garbage time Jaden McDaniels layup offended Joker, who didn't like losing by 16 instead of 14. So he takes off to tell Jaden about it. Cost him $50K in fines, no suspension. Julius Randle fined 2. Here's Joker and Jaden. Take a listen.
Because he scored, everybody stopped playing. Come on, guys, you saw it. What happened?
I don't know what he said, to be honest. I just seen someone that was big as hell. Clock still be running, so I'm about to go score.
I love him.
Flying up my power rankings.
Exactly.
Did you see what Conley said?
No.
Conley after the game, because Conley
yes.
threw him the pass. He's like, yeah, I just threw it up. He's like, and then I realized I threw it to Jaden. And I was like, oh no.
It was also just a layup.
Correct. And the Nuggets had just taken a three themselves and been fouling. It's not like the Nuggets had dribbled the shot clock out.
All right, so they're down 3-1. Has this series changed how you view Joker?
Let me add this. I am glad Joker did not slap him, hit him, something that would have got him suspended. And I'm glad Jaden this Joker in your face, but he kept his cool and he didn't do it. So they both will play. I don't know if they're even discussing guys that left the bench.
No, they already just did fines.
Good.
They did fines, no suspensions.
Good. Just let them
Aaron
play.
Gordon's fine, so it's none of that.
This does not change how I view Jokic. Now, I have had Jokic as the 6th greatest center ever. If you want to say battling Moses Malone, whichever preference you have as far as style, but behind, not in this order, but Shaq, Kareem, Russell, Wilt, and Olajuwon. All right? And we're seeing the difference right now between him and those 5. Those 5 were never defensive liabilities. Like, even though Shaq is not regarded as some phenomenal defender, you weren't just going into the lane carefree against Shaquille O'Neal, all right? And can you imagine a skinny 6'8" role player calling out Shaq's defense? Oh, it wouldn't be pretty. And so the difference in those 5 I mentioned—
Hakeem would have slapped him even if it was a teammate.
Right. That's very true. But I guess what I'm saying is the opinion of those who have said Jokic maybe is the greatest center ever, or one of the great, top
I've got
3
some
centers.
quotes for you
Okay, so whatever. Like, their opinion should change, because this is the difference. Those guys played both ends of the floor. Wise man recently said defense is 50% of the game. All right, and an overstatement, but most great 7-footers have had some resistance at the rim. That's the benefit, one of them, of having a great 7-footer. The other thing is, you see, this is unusual. I don't expect it to happen, really, maybe not ever again. But Gobert is locking Jokic up.
Yeah.
And what has happened is Jokic cannot overpower Rudy, back him down. He backs down a lot of guys and throws in his little jump hooks. Rudy is either taking those away or contesting him to the point Jokic is missing them. He was 0 for 6 in the paint. I think 4 of them were right at the rim in the second half against Gobert. And the fact that his three-pointer has abandoned him. Since the All-Star break, 29% from 3. This series, 18% from 3. Now it's like, okay, what do I go to? What he should go to is the mid-range, because he can shoot the mid-range great. He's got enough, he can create space against Gobert for a mid-range jumper. And that's, I think, where he needs to start living, because if he can't beat him inside, and if his 3 is not falling, he's got to find another way to get going.
Yeah, and because he's not the caliber defensive player of any of those other all-time great centers, he has to consistently be brilliant offensively, and he has not been this series. So just very quickly on him rushing Jaden, listen, and I'm not going to kill him for this, he's a sore loser.
Yeah.
And if games start to get away from Joker, he does a lot of the flopping stuff that I kill other guys for, that I do not like. And when series get away from Joker, he can lose his head a little bit. We saw him before he was a champion just clock campaign in a series they were down 3-0 and get thrown out of that game to end. This was in the playoffs. I mean, just bam, down 3-0. I'm mad. And in this one, now what he did with Jaden is not nearly as bad because he couldn't have hurt him, but he did bum rush.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A player, to your point, and where they're lucky no one got suspended, and I'm glad they didn't, is, man, when things kind of spill into the crowd, the league can be very protective of that, understandably.
It's also just unbecoming
of the
face of the league.
That's or the
LeBron would never do this.
No, and here's the other thing, and I'm glad you bring up LeBron, because yes, every great player ever has had a bad playoff series, or 2 or 3 or 4, or, at least one. A bad playoff series, all are not created equal, and a round 1 dismantling when you're the favorite against a team whose best player was injured but playing and now is out is different. And these are the things that have been said by incredibly powerful is the wrong word, incredibly respected, like top of the profession media members about Jokic. He might be the greatest offensive player ever. He is the best offensive player since Michael Jordan. He is definitively a top 10 all-time player on the Magic and Bird tier. Stan Van Gundy said he might be the best player ever. The best player ever.
I heard that.
Only Kareem, Michael, Russell, Wilt, and LeBron have more MVPs than him. He is, going to finish he's first, second, or third this year. My guess is second. It'll be his 6th straight year in the top 2. Mm-hmm. He is regarded as correctly this transcendent talent, which he has been. But I do wonder if we got a little ahead of ourselves on some things, up to and including, are we even certain he has had a better career than Giannis? Are we certain? Because
the stats are both phenomenal.
Since Joker started going to the playoffs, here are he and Giannis's playoff numbers and playoff accolades, if you will. If we throw it up, I know we have it. So Giannis scores a touch more, rebounds more, Joker passes more. Joker's won 2 more series. They've both been to 1 finals. They've both been to 2 conference finals. And by the way, their career top-line achievements. So to me, that's a wash. And their career top-line achievements, again, Jokic has the 1 more MVP. Giannis has the Defensive Player of the Year. That's close to a wash. And I just feel like Joker is discussed in that furthest upper crust. Basically, there's LeBron and Jordan, and then the next room, Joker's being discussed in that room. Mm-hmm. And then there's another room where Giannis and, Dirk and Durant and those guys are. And I just don't know. I think that when you add the way they lost as the defending champs, last year not going to have round 2. They lose in round 1 this year. It is fair to say, did we accelerate it a little too far? Because, and this is, can I show one other thing, Brew? Since Joker's been a great player, there have only been 2 times in his career where he had 3 straight games shooting under 40% from the field. First round this year, second round last year. And that's regular season or postseason. That's 586 games. There's only been 2 times he's ever had 3 straight inefficient shooting games like that. And it's when they got knocked out last year and they're on the precipice this year. That has to matter at least a touch.
Yeah, and I also think those are great points, and I'm glad you put him and Giannis up there because Joker and Giannis are both great examples of why we revere winning so much. Winning championships is so hard in the NBA because I only played small college basketball. We had some games that were really intense, mentally, emotionally, all that. I've thought about, man, can you imagine playing this 7 straight times against the same team? Mm. And then to do that for 4 rounds and to do that year after year after year after year. That's why people look at Michael Jordan like 6-0. LeBron with his 4 rings and 10 trips to the finals. That is why we look at Bird and Magic. Bird and Magic statistically, Magic is up there with assists, but they're way down on the all-time scoring list and things like that. But they are still universally revered as top 10 players, if not top 5, because they won. It is so hard to win in this league. And as great as Joker is, and neither one of us, I think, is taking anything away from him. But The winning, you can't just sit here as a guy that loves Jokic and the analytics and say, oh, it doesn't. No, the winning is important. That's ultimately what it's about. And it is hard to win. And that's why, because someone else has 3 or 4 rings to his 1, you're going to give the nod to the other guy if he's, statistically they're around the same stuff.
All right, quickly, we'll get into this later on the show. Do you have Minnesota winning this series?
Listen, I picked Denver to make the finals. Minnesota's now without their starting backcourt.
Yeah.
This is I think Joker can rally, and I think it's important that he does. I do, and so I'll stick with Denver.
Okay.
Right now, I picked Denver too. I would pick Minnesota, but I'm not writing off Denver at all.
But what I
think
will
they
say,
got a great chance, but I would pick Denver.
Just 20 seconds here, Dust. The best player alive title is now up in the air, and Joker's going to have to go steal it back. Because if he loses this round, he's not going to have it anymore. And if they get through this round, but it's because those guys are out, he's then going to have to play Wemby for it. And then Shea's going to be waiting probably for the winner of that. I'm not saying he can't have it at the end of this, but he's going to have to beat those guys.
Yeah.
Who are in his way,
it's up in there.
or it's up in the air.
I've said Wemby, as everybody knows. Yeah. Most people probably at this moment might say Shea.
I think they'd say Shea. 15 of 18 was pretty
good. Did the Chiefs not help Mahomes enough with their draft? That's next on FS1 on the Fox Sports Channel on Sirius XM. The NFL in Kansas City. Chiefs' first 4 picks were on defense. Next 3 offense. Emmett Johnson, running back from Nebraska. And then Cyrus Allen is a wide receiver from Cincinnati. And then Garrett Nussmeier is actually a quarterback from LSU. That's not going to help Mahomes too much. Nick, are you worried? And Greg Jennings is here with a great tie. I don't know if we can get a shot at the tie, but it's beautiful. Are we worried the Chiefs are asking too much of Patrick Mahomes?
No, they're asking a lot. They're asking the best player in the world to go be the best player in the world, and he will be. But by doing this on defense, what they're saying is, but if you're not, we might be able to win anyway, which has been the Chiefs' dynasty formula was when Mahomes is great, we never lose, and when Mahomes isn't great, we can still win, and we think in the playoffs he'll consistently be great. That's been the formula, and I do think if you have a better defense, he will be more comfortable taking more chances than he has been comfortable taking the last couple of years, not necessarily having to be so cautious. But I think the Chiefs, I didn't think they needed to upgrade the offensive line. They have 4 either highly drafted or highly paid offensive line starters already. They have invested heavily via the draft in the wide receiver room. We will see if those guys are reliable on and off the field, but you can't, in my opinion, if you're trying to keep a dynasty running, chase the rabbit of, we might have missed that pick, let's see, as opposed to addressing obvious needs. So what they are trying to do in this draft is duplicate the 2022 draft, which is what, along with Patrick, Andy, Chris Jones, and Travis, this is one draft.
Yeah.
After they traded for Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
And that is how many games those guys have played for Kansas City. Trent McDuffie, all-pro, and then traded for first-round pick and then some. George Karloff, the starting edge. Brian Cook just got a huge contract in free agency. Leo Chenal got a big contract. Josh Williams started 75 games at corner. Jalen Watson got a big contract. Pacheco, a late-round running back. They're saying, let's do it again. And the other thing, Greg, they did this offseason in signing Kenneth Walker, and I like Emmett Johnson. He led the Big Ten in rushing yards, is they're trying to get the Chiefs and Patrick off this graphic, which is unspeakable. No 1,000-yard rushers. That's his whole career. It's them, the Chargers, who spent a first-round pick on Omarion Hampton. The Saints, who it's weird because they had Kamara, but they throw the ball to him so much. Broncos, who spent high draft picks on running backs. And again, Washington's half the amount of time. Make people respect the running game so it's easier to throw. So, yes, they're asking a lot of Patrick, but I think it's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. Look, I don't think it's asking anything more than what we've seen them ask him in the last few years. I think a lot of times when we look at the draft, especially when we have a team like Patrick Mahomes and a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, who we deem being the best in the business, and there's been issues surrounding the positions that he's dependent upon and are dependent upon him, it's like, man, how can we improve that immediately? And we want to see that improvement with draft selection. They have, to your point, they have drafted at that position. And they've drafted well. The availability of those guys is what has impacted that offense drastically. We also look at the draft and forget that things prior to the draft are reasons why teams go about the draft a certain way. Once you get Kenneth Walker, you are saying, and you pay him the amount of money that they signed up to pay him, you are saying we are going to establish our running game. Mm-hmm. This is a way that we are going to help Patrick Mahomes and our passing game, and it doesn't have to be directly it show up through the draft. Defensively, they had to address all these moves. They had to do this in the draft defensively because of what they were willing to part ways with and what they knew they didn't have. And so when you have a player that is, I would deem Patrick Mahomes being one of the most impactful players in terms of coach, if he was sitting here, he would say a force multiplier upon all force multipliers. You trust that he can get the level of play of the guys around him to rise before you identify even a Chris Jones on the other side of the ball can get what he lacks to rise to that level that Patrick Mahomes can.
Yeah, I also feel like by getting Kenneth Walker, they addressed a huge need. So you brought up the no 1,000-yard rusher. Last year, they were 25th in the league in rush yards, and a lot of that was Mahomes.
Yeah.
And the year before, they were 22nd. So getting Walker should help that, all right? Then what they need, their receiving room, they need to stay healthy and sober-minded, all right? Rashee Rice is a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. He's great yards after the catch. He just got to be available. So if he's available, that's a legit number one receiver. And Xavier Worthy, and I can't even say he's injury prone. He got hurt his second year, but fine his first year. If he's able to play, he's a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. So you have those guys. Obviously, you still have Kelsey. Tyquan Thornton's a fine number 3. And I think they feel like, too, Nick, bringing Eric Bieniemy back instead of Matt Nagy as the OC. I've said it before, months ago, but look at the difference in Mahomes under Bieniemy from 2018 to 22 to under Matt Nagy from 2023 to 25. That's a stark difference. And so if Bieniemy can make some sort of big difference, then I think they may be considering that, then they probably feel like, look, our offense can get clicking again and we'll be fine, and we've improved the defense.
I wouldn't mind if you had a superstar wide receiver.
Well, so I don't think that
When have they had
He
that?
won it with Juke.
Seriously,
but after Tyreek, they haven't. Yeah.
He evolved into that. They didn't
But
draft
he was a Pro Bowler before Mahomes took over.
No, he became, as a specialist.
Yeah, he was an all-pro
Right,
kick
that's
From
right.
a
as a kick
specialist
returner, right.
perspective.
That's true.
But he developed into becoming a Pro Bowl wide receiver because you had the guy under center throwing the ball.
Between Prime Kelsey and
Yeah, listen, I think
I wouldn't mind if there was like a DJ Moore, Josh Allen move.
Yeah,
we need to be better.
If this season, if Mahomes doesn't pop this season, I think then they'll be like, okay, we got to go.
Yeah, I don't want to follow the Bills team building model. And I just
Teed
don't.
that up.
Teed
that up.
In the playoffs.
They did. They made the playoffs last year, and the Chiefs missed the playoffs last year. I trust the Chiefs team building model more than the Bills team building model. If a true superstar receiver were available for what DJ Moore were available for, of course, that's something you would consider. I just think that you have spent resources at receiver. In order to keep things rolling, those guys have to develop and it has to pan out. I also think listen, I don't know if this is even a good idea. I think it's possible Tyreek Hill is back on the Chiefs. And I think Cam Jordan or someone like Cam Jordan, a one-year mercenary pass rusher, will be on the Chiefs.
Well, that's interesting.
And I think that at 3 p.m. today, anyone you sign no longer counts against your compensatory picks. So that's why all those waiting veteran guys who haven't signed, you can start seeing them signed. I think the Chiefs are going to add a couple veterans, play these young guys, and see if a real running game and Patrick healthy, what they can do.
All right, let's head to Pittsburgh. Steelers QB1 is in California, spotty cell service. Did they find their QB2 in Pennsylvania? Maybe. Pittsburgh grabs Penn State's Drew Allar in the third round. Now we expect Rodgers to be back. No idea when. Here's McCarthy on Allar.
I believe in first impressions. I've had a chance to have watch him play, but meet him at the combine, and really all the quarterbacks that came into the meeting room there did very well. But I just, I liked everything about him. I think he's young. I think he's got a lot of great, a lot of room for growth, and he's a young man that can throw the ball with the best of them, and that's a great starting point to have.
That was not a good soundbite. I agree with first impressions. He was a good guy. He's young, can throw the ball. All right, so here's the thing. He was highly touted in last year, but then he got his ankle injury, and he was only 3-3, only threw 8 touchdowns. Could Drew Allar end up as the Steelers' QB1, assuming Rodgers is back?
Well, first of all, there is a guy named Will Howard.
Oh, my God.
I'm just saying, all he did
Will Howard.
was lead Ohio State to the national championship while leading the nation in completion percentage, yards, and touchdowns. I'm just saying. And he's 6'4", 235, so he's a big boy, too. Just give him a chance, all right? He's in
fair.
the quarterback room, too.
Yes.
And like McCarthy said, I think he's young, all right? So we'll see. But as far as Allar, I mean, he's a project. And I think it was a smart draft pick. Yes. Because he's in Pittsburgh, you want a big guy, right? Because of weather and things like that. He's got a cannon for an arm. I don't know how well he processes. He seems like he has some trouble under pressure. He's got things to learn, but he's a project that has, as we see so often, the physical tools, the measurables. And so you take a flyer and say, hey, get him with a late round pick. Maybe he can learn some nuances from Aaron, and then let's see if he's our guy. So I think it was a smart pick.
Yeah, so I thought it was a good pick at where they got him.
Right.
For sure. And when you're in a position where you don't know what your future is moving forward, you've said this on numerous occasions, you got to keep throwing darts at that position.
Got the third quarterback off the board.
Right.
And to me, when you look at, was it the third or was he the fourth?
Third round.
Oh, sorry.
I want to say he was the fourth.
I think he's the fourth.
My apologies.
Fourth quarterback off the board. But
early third round pick.
Yes. But when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they're doing, they're preparing for both. They're preparing for Aaron Rodgers. They're preparing for whoever emerges. Will Allen, your guy, which I like. I'm sorry, Will Howard or Drew Allar.
Just say.
I like this pick because there's a lot of upside. Now, watching him in the Big Ten when it mattered most, he did not show up. You talk about, but I'm not.
Coach fired.
I'm not going to put it all on Allar, though, because
A lot of them put it on Franklin.
in the system, it wasn't, I don't know if we saw the best version or the style of play that kind of promotes who he can potentially be. Okay. We'll see at the pro level if he even gets that opportunity. He's not the guy starting this year.
Yeah, but there are more examples of third-round raw projects being good as rookies than there are 42-year-olds being good. I have a crazy full screen of all of the 42-year-old week 1 starting quarterbacks in NFL history other than Tom Brady. That's the full screen. It doesn't exist. No one's ever done it. It's just Brady.
Warren Moon didn't do it, huh?
Not week 1.
Okay.
Meaning that our plan, right. Warren Moon started, I think it was 44, but he was a backup and he was pressed into service. But a team being like, guess what our plan is? We're going to play 14, 16, now 17 weeks of professional tackle football, and we're going to have a guy who's 42 years old as our week 1 starter. Tom Brady, a team did it, and it was great, and he's one of one football player in the history of the league. No one else has done it. So I also don't have full screen of how many teams after the draft and free agency, didn't have a quarterback signed that they were dead certain is going to be their quarterback. But the Steelers It worked out so well last year, let's run it back. So, listen, I am not a huge Drew Allar believer, but I did say throw a dart, take a chance, and what I know is there is a tiny, whatever percent chance is, there is a chance that in 3 years, Will Howard is the Steelers franchise quarterback. There is a chance that in 3 years, Drew Allar is the Steelers franchise quarterback. There is no chance whatsoever in 3 years Aaron Rodgers is the Steelers franchise quarterback, and right now he's not on the roster. So I'm glad they drafted a quarterback. It might be bad news for Mason Rudolph if Aaron decides to sign, but it's April 27th, and he's unsigned.
We're expected to get an answer pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
Within the next few months.
Yeah, next week. I thought. Afternoon headlines presented by Afrin. Ridiculously fast nasal congestion relief. Cat had a triple-double. The Knicks cruised to a comfy victory in Atlanta. Series tied at 2, headed back to the Garden Brew. On Friday, you said, and I quote, they're at death's door. They are on their last legs. They are sinking fast. I'm telling you, oh my goodness, they're in trouble. Do you still feel this way? Do you still feel that the Knicks are on death's door?
I did what was necessary.
Okay.
It was true, but I woke them up.
Oh.
It was like an extension of the Bud list. They were actually number 1 on the Bud list. Another victory for the Bud list, at least so far. But they are not, they were right there at death's door. That was a do or die game. I think if they lost that, it was over. They're not at death's door, but they can see it. It's within spitting distance. I mean, it really, it's there.
Yeah.
I do think they're the better team. And I think what they have to do is continue to get Karl Anthony Towns involved.
By continue, you mean start to?
Well, last game, the triple-double, all right, 20, 10, and 10. He only took 10 shots, but he had 9 free throw attempts. So obviously he's getting more shots. He's just getting fouled on them. And look, in the game 1 and game 4, Cat has 19 free throw attempts in the 2 games. 17 of them he's hit. They've won both of those games by an average of nearly 14 points. Games 2 and 3, he had 6 free throw attempts. They are 0-2 in those games, obviously. All right, get the man involved. They've been treating Karl Anthony Towns like he's some role player. And it's Jalen's world, and I'm not blaming Jalen, but Jalen Brunson's world, everybody else just get in where you fit in. No, Karl Anthony Towns is a very good player. He was on my 3rd team All-NBA. He's made All-NBA before, whether he makes it or not this year. He's a perennial All-Star. He should be a key part of their offense. Some of it's on him. Go get some offensive rebounds. Be a little more aggressive. But some of it's on Jalen. Look, we get you a score, but you also a point guard. Get your big men the ball. And Mike Brown, make sure he's involved. If they do that, Atlanta does not have a matchup for him. CJ is out playing Brunson. Jalen Johnson can match up with OG Anunoby. Dyson Daniels can match up with Mikal Bridges or Josh Hart, whoever. No one in Atlanta or the state of Georgia can match up with Karl Anthony Towns. Get him the rock.
So you and I are going the same place. This series, Karl Anthony Towns is shooting 57% from the field and 50% from 3. 57-50 splits for Towns. Brunson splits are 41 from the field, 38 from 3. Yet despite that, Jalen has taken 89 shots to Karl's 47, almost double, and 26 threes to Karl's 14, again, almost double. That has to be adjusted a bit. It doesn't need to switch, because right now, the only player on the Knicks playing better than he actually is, I think, is OG. I think OG is the only one who's playing better, and he's been super efficient. He's been Karl Anthony Towns is playing really well given the opportunities, but the opportunities are limited. And Brunson's having not a rough series, but rough-ish series. And Mikal obviously has been really, he's having an awful series. You hope he bounces back. But those of us that thought it would be Knicks in 7 thought, hey, this is probably how the first 4 games would go in one way or another. What I do think would make you feel better about the Knicks is this, KW. the two games that weren't close at the end are both Knicks wins, and one of the Knicks losses, with 5 minutes left, it looked like it wasn't going to be close at the end.
Right.
So they have controlled the bulk of minutes in this series. They just haven't controlled winning time like they normally do. But to me, that speaks to the fact that they are a better team than Atlanta, and that should win out. But, you know, anytime you're to a best of three, it gets nerve-wracking.
You want to take care of them in 6, because anything can happen in 7, even if it's at the Garden.
Must win game 5?
Yeah.
Oh, game 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I think they got to take care of them in 6. You don't want this to go 7.
I might go to that game. Live from New York, the show that has breaking marathon news coming up within this hour. I might sign us all up for a race as a team building exercise.
I'll do it.
Bro, 2 or 3?
I don't run. I will be there cheering you guys on.
That's good. That's even worse. With a sign?
Yes.
Today,
This is too much. This bottom.
does Mahomes have the next Calvin Johnson on the team?
This bar is too much.
He wasn't drafted. He was
That's
he
what
was
the scuttlebutt
undrafted
is,
free
Nick.
agent.
They didn't want to draft
They
him.
got a
They
new
didn't want to
Calvin
draw too
Johnson.
much attention to
Yeah,
it.
that's
They wanted to
slick move.
fly under the radar.
Meanwhile, Joker tonight, literal must win. So is it? But is it?
Rudy, how about Gobert's?
Gobert's playing great.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a guy.
Hall of Famer.
that- He might be.
He definitely
4
is.
times.
Four-time Defensive Player of the
He
Year.
definitely is.
Yeah, I know. I said it.
No, Brew thought it for a second it was the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's like not that hard to get in. All right, let's head to Houston. Game 3, Durant nowhere to be found. Rockets fell apart in crunch time. Afterwards, Ime Udoka said he was getting treatment in the locker room. Underwater treadmill.
Yeah.
Game 4, he was on the bench.
Amin Thompson was asked about it between games. He's like, I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
In good spirits as the Rockets avoided a sweep.
He did seem happy.
Oh, yeah.
Wave high to DeAndre.
Yeah, I like that, actually. Game 5 Wednesday in LA as Durant played his last game with the Rockets.
Certainly on the board, and we can all agree this is really weird, right?
Yes.
The bench, his whole tenure.
No, the last.
The playoff.
The playoffs have been weird.
Yes.
And I saw the video of him turning his ankle, but I was watching game 2 as closely as either I wasn't multi-screening, I was locked in on Lakers-Rockets game 2. In real time, I didn't know he hurt himself. So I was,
He definitely. It's a
no,
legit
that's
turn,
what I'm
but
saying.
he turned around and ran back.
Exactly right. So I didn't know about it until after that, when people were like, this must have been when it happened. You see it, you're like, oh, wow, yeah, he did turn his ankle. But it didn't show up on the court, impacting him in that moment. So I was surprised when all of a sudden he popped up in the injury report in game 3. It was so weird. I feel like we all realized at the same time, like, wait a minute, during game 3.
Yeah.
They haven't shown him on the bench.
I was looking for him.
It hadn't occurred to me, and then around the time right before you texted us, something in my head, I was like, wait, I know exactly what Luka looks like, what he's dressed as, you know what I mean, throughout this series. We haven't seen Durant, and then they're like, no, it's round-the-clock treatment. But again, I also saw a video of Durant walking into the arena before Game 3 at the same time of his teammates. So that part's weird too, in that if the ankle swelled up.
Swole is.
Yeah, thank you. Swole is you, KW.
Yeah, thank you.
Swelled up that morning, and it's so it's in such bad shape he can't even miss the 2 hours of treatment during the game.
Right.
I would have thought it'd be like, hey, come to the arena immediately. And let's get on this underwater treadmill.
Or you could stay after, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, on the underwater treadmill.
So that part was weird. The fact that the Rockets seemed to, game 3 until they melted down at the end and they could have used KD at the end, I don't know, seemed like the young guys were like, we got something to prove to somebody. Yeah. Now, who's that somebody? The media that turned on him? Maybe Ime Udoka, who's been killing him in the public?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
or their future first ballot Hall of Famer who said the following things about his teammates.
Allegedly.
No, it's
He
not
never
allegedly.
denied it.
And
Yeah,
we haven't talked much about this. I know that was his. It's not. I'm not. I don't need to say allegedly. That was Kevin Durant's account. Now, again, I can't report. Maybe somebody took his phone from him and someone else is sending it. But that was Kevin Durant's account. Said, Şengün can't shoot or defend. Can't trust Jabari to make a shot or get a stop, and said he was dumb. And that he missed Ben Simmons because at least he would give me the ball. And then he also took shots at Kerr and Vogel and former teammates. That's fine. And that seemed to have wrecked their season.
Yep.
And so certainly, Brew, it's on the board. He's not there next year, which would make it every spot he's left weirdly then, if that happens.
In shambles. Every spot. And quickly on that, look, Kevin Durant, we all know his legacy is set as an all-time great player, and he can do what he wants. He wanted to be happy when he left Golden State. He was like, oh, a championship, it was nice, but something was missing. Here's what I would say to KD, Nick. Have you been happier in Brooklyn, Phoenix, and Houston than you were in Golden State? Maybe you weren't on top of the moon or over the moon in Golden State, but have you really been happier?
I think
it certainly
he's gotten
doesn't
less
seem
happy
like it.
every stop.
Right. It doesn't seem like every one of them has ended badly. He's asked out of the two of the three places, and who knows what's coming here. So it's just unfortunate that he left a situation that would have taken his great legacy to another level had he stayed there. But anyway, you guys know I have been saying for months, if I'm Houston this summer, I am offering Alperen Şengün, whether it's Reed, Shepard, Torrey, whoever, the young players I have to, not Amin Thompson, or probably not Jabari Smith, but these young guys and some picks to Milwaukee for Giannis. Giannis, Kevin Durant, Fred VanVleet. I mean, Steven Adams, like Amin Thompson, that's a squad.
That works.
All right, and maybe Giannis, I think he's a good leader. I think he's a better leader than KD, so he can be a leader. Definitely. Or VanVleet certainly can be a leader. So I think that's a good squad that can compete in the West. But if I can't get Giannis, if I'm Houston, I do not want to go through this again. There are places that, because you wonder, okay, after Kevin Durant is ended badly in these other places, who necessarily wants him? How about these 6 squads?
Love it.
Minnesota, and I don't know what they can give for him, so I'm just saying. Minnesota, Atlanta, this is not in order. Cleveland, assuming they go out early. Detroit. Now, I don't know what Detroit has to give for him, but Detroit certainly is a team that
James
should go
was one
after.
of the guys he said good things about in this.
James is
I think he would.
He said he's delusional, but he's a good dude.
Okay.
That's what he said.
The Knicks, I mean, if they don't get LeBron,
That's a classic move.
Knicks, I mean, Milwaukee. Does Milwaukee say, hey, let's try to get KD to play with Giannis?
But do we agree on this, Brew? The Rockets either move Durant or break up the young core. You can't.
Well, you're kind of breaking it up if you get Giannis.
That's fine, but I'm saying even if they can't get Giannis, what they can't do is run this back.
I would not break it. Unless there's I would not break up the young core except for a superstar. Because
then you got to move
if you
Durant.
got even a Devin Booker type, we saw that, and it's not going to work.
No, but my point is, you cannot ask these young guys to
with
follow Durant.
No, it's not his thing.
It's done, and it's all. But so
right, the burner account.
No, it's done. It is done. Again, the point you made earlier about these guys looking up to him, all mixed metaphors a bit, but you guys have heard the way I, kind of talk about how much I looked up to for my whole life to Cowherd.
Yep.
Can you imagine what it would have done to me? And maybe this existed, and I just luckily found out. If I found out, 6 months into being Colin's fill-in and being a guest on his show, that he was in group chats like, this guy's just such an idiot. He can't hack it, all these things. It would have devastated me. And so it's either emotionally devastating or infuriating or a combination of the two. And then be like, guys, it's show business, get on and go. Short term, that's tenable. Long term, it's not. Yeah. And the only way I thought they had to save it was, an awesome playoff run where they all come together and it's, there's a moment, almost the movie moment of, hey, I was wrong, guys. Like, hey, follow me, let's do it. And it's been the opposite.
Yeah.
And so, it's not, and your point about happiness, I do think if you were to look at it, he was, I think, happy, but frustrated and a little unfulfilled in Oklahoma City. So he went to Golden State, won the championships, but then felt like he didn't get the adoration or the respect he deserved. So he goes to Brooklyn. It's going great, and then it ends disastrously, asks out, goes to Phoenix. That instantly starts going poorly. And now there's never been a good time. It's just been a steady, for as far as his enjoyment, it feels like it's been a steady down.
And he's picked all 3 of those places. It's not like he just got traded there. He's picked
all
places.
4.
Well, Golden State. But
Wemby's back. Portland is on the brink. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 7 blocks, 4 steals.
Pretty good game.
Drew, here's Wemby on what he learned from watching Game 3 from the bench.
We got this connection. I think there's no useless drama in between us, We thrive when we do the invisible efforts that benefit others. There's no jealousy. Nobody cares about their stat line, So it's our greatest strength.
The juxtaposition of this story versus the Rockets story is glaring. Do you feel better than ever about your Spurs pick?
Yes. I think this has been a great series for them. Portland has putting up a valiant effort, has tested them. They have faced adversity with Wemby being out. And because that was the big question, how are these guys going to respond to the playoffs? Wemby obviously has responded well. Castle's averaging 20. Yesterday, De'Aaron Fox, the one of the 2 veterans they have with some playoff experience, played great, had 28 points. I do think this has worked out swimmingly for them.
Did you mention Harper's amazing game?
No, right.
Harper had a moment.
Yeah.
He had a playoff moment of I'm that dude, I've arrived.
Yep. And they're developing. So, they're getting some experience, obviously, with the adversity and everything that you want them to have. Then you look at Minnesota.
Correct.
If they win this series without Anthony Edwards and DiVincenzo, who knows if Ant will play in that series, but he certainly won't. It doesn't appear he'll start that series. So that should, if they were healthy, I think, okay, they a tough squad, right? Yeah. That would be interesting, but they're not. So that's worked out for San Antonio. And then Denver, if they get through, we'll see where Aaron Gordon's at as far as health, but they will have been worn out, assuming this series with Portland doesn't go 7. And then if you get to OKC, hey, this is what we've been looking for all year. Let's see who's the better team. So I do think right now things are working out well for them. And you hate the injuries. You don't want these other teams injured, but they are, so the path gets a little bit easier for them.
No, I mean, this has been close to perfect for the Spurs. Assuming there are no lingering effects at all from Wemby's concussion, and he seems confident of it because he seems furious the league didn't let him play in Game 3. That was weird to me. You were talking about how mature he sounds and everything, and he said he'll wait till after the season to discuss it. I would be hard-pressed to whatever Wemby tells us after the season for me to be like, oh, he's right, they should have let him play. That's the only sign of youth that I've seen from.
I hate to say it, I'm going to lean towards Wemby here.
I don't
think he was mad necessarily about if he could play, if he couldn't play. I bet there was something funky in the procedure.
Yeah.
That he
maybe
I do think he wanted to play.
I think he definitely wanted to play, and maybe he thought there was something funky in the procedure, and maybe 22-year-old player doesn't, totally have the ins and outs of all of the. I know he's very smart and erudite and wise beyond his years.
He probably felt completely
fine. He clearly did.
Right,
but
I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
That's a sidebar point. My point is, assuming there isn't, a further effect of the concussion or something like that, they dodged that bullet immensely and got valuable time, proof of concept. They were down 14 in the second half
Right.
in the game without Wemby and then came back without him. Harper had that moment. That's all good. Like you saw, you got real live tests being down in this game and then coming back was valuable. And in the 2 playoff games he's started and finished, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was very worried for them about Denver in round 2. I have to be less worried now. First of all, to your point, Denver to get there will have to go all out in 3 straight victories, be worn down already, and Denver looks like a wounded animal right now. So, yes, as far as the things that had to happen for the Spurs championship odds to rise, they've all happened.
Okay. One of our rare Thunder conversations. They've been dispatching of the Suns, who are down 3-0. In the process, Devin Booker goes down on the ground, courtesy of a Lou Dort trip. Okay. Your reaction to this play?
No player in the league should have to do math on, man, I'm supposed to come back from injury, but is it safe to do it if the Thunder's the next team up? And what Lou Dort has, to me, shown again and again and again is that he will go way past blurring the line and way past the plausible deniability to outright dirty play with the intention of what appears to me to be the intention of not injuring the opponent, but hurting the opponent. I don't think he's trying to knock anyone out for for an extended period of time.
You think he's trying to knock him out for the game?
I think he's trying to make him feel pain. I think he's trying to do things that hurt.
Some of that's in bounds, but
yes, but Wild's hand was off camera. Wild's almost gave me the little slow down sign, which I appreciate. But if I can look at 12 videos of these plays from this year, from Dort, even if 8 of them are accidental, it means 4 of them aren't.
Right.
And Thunder fans, folks, take a deep breath. It's not a conspiracy against your team. And the reason that it is a compliment that you guys beating up the Suns or Shea going 15 of 18 is not an A1 story. It's because your team's awesome. Shea's about to be the 2-time MVP. You're the favorites to win the title. You don't need to do this stuff. And when Dylan Brooks was doing this stuff, we called it out. When Draymond Green was doing this stuff, we called it out. And I thought, Brew, it would have been totally acceptable if the NBA, after that play, said, you know what, Dort, 1 game. Suspended.
What did he get on? Did he get a flagrant?
I'm not even certain he got anything.
I don't know if play stopped. He raises the only pushback
fouls.
I have.
There was no foul.
He raises his hand and sort of volunteers.
Yeah, that he fouled.
I tripped him.
He tries to do it like it was an accident.
But he did the same thing when he ran into Joker. When he ran into Joker's knee, he then was like, it's just. I mean, come on, man.
I do think.
No, this was different.
That's against Joker, yeah.
No, this one, he's like, what, me? And the other.
Oh, you're saying he raised his hand.
He went like this. He's like, I fouled Booker.
But I think he's admitting I tripped him, but it was just happenstance versus I stuck my foot out. I do think, just like LaMelo, they should have, after the game, looked at it the next day or whatever and made it a flagrant 2, I think it was, on LaMelo. So,
well, that would mean something. Yeah,
that would mean something here because the point accumulation at least would matter.
Look, and I said this before. First of all, this has happened enough where I think the league office should call the Thunder and be like, this has to stop. Because God forbid a player get hurt. God forbid a player gets hurt because you purposely tripped them. And then I said, maybe I'm being Pollyannish. I would love it if Mark Daigneault just sat Dort down like, look, you're a great defender in your own right. You don't need to do this dirty stuff.
Didn't Daigneault, after he did the thing to Joker?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to publicly defend his guys. But privately, whether it's in front of the team or just with Dort, Because this takes away
They don't
from
need
the greatness of the Thunder. Right.
He's a great defender without it.
Right.
They don't need it. And again, I watched the play on the Wemby collision, the SGA collision. It is so consistently the same thing of, well, there is some deniability. Sure. The Joker thing, I said SGA collision, pardon me, I meant the Joker collision. The Joker, there was not much deniability. I hate it. And if the league said, you're suspended a game, and even if that one play was not suspendable, fight us on it.
If we've got a Wemby, if we're destined for a Wemby Thunder matchup.
You think he's not going to? If we get
that
7
is
games,
unacceptable.
If we get 7 games, this is what I would ask the audience before we move on. If we get 7 games of Thunder Spurs, what are the odds we don't have at least one time we're doing a topic of, here's the play of Dort on Wemby? It's very low. We expect it to happen.
Those teams already don't like each other.
We expect it to happen.
Yeah.
If he's already got a concussion, like it has to be at 0%.
Okay,
that's why the league needs to jump in.
0% that he does it, not reverse. Okay, coming up next, back to football. Why someone says the Jags had the worst draft in the entire league.
I don't think it's not just someone. It's a lot of someone.
Saturday Night Baseball on Fox. Ohtani and the 2-time champion Dodgers taking on Jordan Walker, and the Cardinals are playing well. Or Tigers Rangers Saturday 7 Eastern, only on Fox.
Speaking of baseball, anybody seen fire their manager?
Well, Red Sox fired everybody. Not great. No huddle time. Draft, Greg, is a mix of college stars and untapped potential. Let's talk potential. Eagles drafted potential defensive lineman Uar Bernard from the International Play Pathway. He excelled at the combine. One note here, Greg, has never played football.
Yeah, big note, but.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
did you give his size?
It's big.
6'4", 306, 4'6", 40, and 39-inch vertical.
We're not just saying. Takes. Meanwhile, the Chiefs signed undrafted Jeff Caldwell out of Cincinnati, who registered, depending on which report you're looking at, better than, equal to, or just slightly behind the athletic score of Calvin Johnson.
Oh,
not a comp, not like he reminds me of.
I've got the data for you.
The data says that he's Calvin Johnson.
Pending pro day.
But he went undrafted.
It's weird.
If Calvin Johnson was in the draft, I would at least think second round.
I can't quite figure this one out. Because everybody knows I've always been a big Jeff Caldwell fan ever since I saw this tweet.
What is this? What are you talking about?
Back in March, Dust, can we zoom in on this?
Yeah.
If we could, you take me off the screen, put that up so I can tell America everything this says here. But it says Jeff Caldwell, there we go, wide receiver prospect draft class. He scored a 10.0 out of a possible 10.0. Ranked second out of 3,926 wide receivers from 1987 to 2026. Behind only Calvin Johnson pending pro day.
Yep.
Green is good on these things. What's his size? Well, he's 6'4.5", weighs 215. That's great. Vertical leap 42 inches. Broad jump over 11 feet. 4'3", 40.
Didn't do the bench, Greg.
It doesn't need to. Arm length 32 inches. So here's the thing.
So maybe he's great.
Here's the thing, Greg. This is what I can't quite square the circle on. The Chiefs knew all that and they liked him. And they risked not getting him to draft Garrett Nussmeier in the 7th round as a third-string quarterback. I don't understand how a player with that many measurables, who played, it's not like he didn't play college football, played Cincinnati, was fine, could ever go undrafted. And it's not like he's like, well, he's on the run from the law or something. So it is a little odd that the whole league passed on him 260 sometimes. With that said, I assume Mahomes will unlock him into his full potential for Calvin Johnson. So my answer is Jeff Caldwell. And his teammate, he's not even, the Chiefs did draft Cincinnati receiver, not even him, draft a different one. His teammate's there with him.
Yeah, I want to hear, what could it be? Because apparently he can catch to some degree. He had 30-something catches, 400-something, yards for Cincinnati. So I read that his routes aren't strong. He doesn't run strong routes. But my feeling is that if he is smart and if he has a work ethic, especially with Mahomes in Kansas City, he's going to be good.
Can it be that teams actually watch the film of a guy versus the highlights that we're getting glimpses of?
But that's what I'm wondering. I mean,
there's
apparently he wasn't dropping everything.
There's so many players that go undrafted that are really good in college football.
Not second only Calvin Johnson athleticism, though.
This is true.
4'3", 46.
I mean, that,
However, when you're
6'4".
evaluating these guys, it's not, okay, man, he was really good. I wonder, can he be good or will he be good? Do I believe that this can translate? And so sometimes you feel like it won't translate. When you have measurables like this, you bring in a guy. If you feel like you can draft him, great, fine. You spend a draft pick on him. If you feel like another team may be out there, you get a gauge. This is why teams talk to players consistently. Hey, who all you been talking to? And if a player's like, I haven't really talked to anybody, most players are going to be honest. Right. Most players in his position are going to definitely tell you, yeah, I was talking to the Bengals or I was talking to the Chargers. Most players aren't going to be honest, and he probably, look, I haven't had a lot of people talking to me, so they kind of get a gauge on, he probably will go undrafted like we presume.
It just reminded me that Mike Tomlin clip from a few years ago on Ryan Clark's show on The Pivot, when he talks about going into the draft, he was like, all I care about is pedigree. Meaning, and he meant like measurable athleticism. He's like, don't tell me about anything about technique when it comes to drafting players. Like, that's what the coaching is for. He's like, what I care about is the stuff we can't coach, and because I trust our coaches enough. So that's why it is surprising. It's so surprising to me, it's almost a red flag, that nobody, Lance Zierlein on NFL.com had him as a potential fourth-round receiver, that nobody said, all right, in the 6th round, we'll take a flyer on the sick athlete and see what it is. In fact, that just like the Eagles did that. They were like, hey, has the guy played football? No, but he's a sick athlete.
Yeah.
So we'll take a flyer on him, and I think that's smart by the Eagles. Like, I like that, even though the guy's never played football.
Remember Ronaldo Nehemiah? I mean, that was ages ago, but the track athlete, the hurdler, who had a decent career. There probably been a few other guys.
Well, and the Eagles, Jordan Mailata didn't play.
Well, that's where, look, the other guys measurable. You hear what I said? 6'4", 306, and run a 4.6 40.
You know who
with
they
a 39 inch vertical.
They were drawing comparisons to him with? Myles Garrett.
What? Myles Garrett and Calvin Johnson?
Look at the measurables.
They're available in the 7th round and undrafted.
He's never played
Oh, my goodness.
Never played football.
And Jordan Mailata had never played football.
I think that he played either rugby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look,
this guy's probably played catch.
He's done
athlete.
something. I mean, that's right.
I like
Had
that.
to see him work out and train.
Arizona.
Know what they're doing.
Where the Cardinals took Miami/Georgia's Carson Beck in the 3rd round. Jeremiah Love in the 1st. All of a sudden, interesting offense. Carson Beck can win games for you. 37-6. Completes about 70% of his passes. And don't forget, he's 24-3 at Georgia, 13-3 at Miami.
Same high school classes.
Hey, Gianna. Yeah.
There we go. Do you guys know
Was
his
he a
high school
Gatorade
class?
All-American?
Well, I mean, no, he was like number 6 pro-style quarterback, but in the same high school class as Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. So he was in college for quite some time.
6 years.
care about that.
6 years.
You don't care about that?
When guys are like, oh, he's 23.
Well,
I want him to be 21 and a half.
Okay.
I don't
I actually think in this instance, can he start for, what's it say, over Brissett? I would give him a great shot, and if he's ready, usually, I'm fine with sitting rookies.
Yeah.
But he's 24. He played 6 years of college football. 3 years.
6 years is a lot.
That's what I said.
Right.
You got mad at
6 is a lot.
Okay, but that's why I'm playing him
6 is a
now.
lot.
He started 3 years, 2 in the SEC, 1 in the ACC. So he played the highest level that you could play outside of NFL. And I need to find out if he could potentially be our guy, or I got to draft somebody next year. So if he's competent, and I'm playing him this year. I want to see, because he's old.
Well, the goal is always to draft a guy that you feel like can help your team. And so with saying that, when you look at the Arizona Cardinals, you have Jacoby Brissett as your day one starter. You understand, if all else, okay, we got our quarterback that we feel like can bridge us. If we see positive things going into the offseason program, training camp, and he starts to kind of create a little bit more buzz, you probably still start off with Jacoby Brissett. And at some point, he kind of stalls out, if you will, and then you insert him just to see what it looks like. But I think he's going to get a chance to play. I do think he's going to get a chance to play.
He'll get a chance. The question is his arm strength shot since he had the surgery, and it wasn't the same in college post-surgery. And if that's the case, then he's probably not an NFL starter. But, he does have the pedigree we were talking about, and, playing at Georgia and Miami, winning, as you said, he certainly has more long-term potential than Jacoby, but the answer almost assuredly is the Cardinals' real starting quarterback is playing college football right now.
Yeah.
That's probably the case, but I believe in taking a shot, third-round pick, and seeing.
Sure. All right, hit the trumpets, Dust. You know what that means. Bad news. The Athletic ranked each draft, and congratulations to the Cleveland Browns. They came in at number 1 best draft in the whole league. Now, if someone's won, someone's got to be 32. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Here's GM James Gladstone and a reporter.
Can you compare what you got out of this draft to what you wanted to get out of it?
Oh, that's a great question. So I can say, as a part of maybe the day before kickoff on Thursday, we ended up putting players in slots across all 11 picks. And can in fact say that we were able to nail 10 of those 11, and we only made 10 selections.
Wow. Must have been perfect. Here's the deal. I have a lot invested in the Jaguars, and I would like them to be good.
You don't
Very
have
popular
that much.
I have a lot invested. I bought real estate. I have a lot.
The Blonde Buglers.
I'm beloved in Duval County. Yeah, they want us to do more Hornets and Magic coverage instead.
How dare you?
And I really like Liam Cohen, and you guys know
that's true.
I love Trevor. James Gladstone brushing up against Smug. Last year you made
brushing.
Last year you made took a huge swing in the draft, trading the 5th, a future first, and a 3rd, I believe it was, might have been a 4th, to move up for Travis Hunter. We'll see if that works out long term. Year 1 returns not great. One of the reasons Cleveland had the best draft because of the extra capital from Jacksonville. This year, with your first pick, you took a blocking tight end who had 170 yards receiving last year, and I understand the league's moving more to 2 tight end, blocking tight end sets, fine. Still odd. And to just be like, no, we set our draft the day before, targeted 10 players, and drafted all, I don't know that I believe you. And if it is true, then that means if every guy you wanted was available when you were hoping to get him,
right.
It means maybe you were valuing players the rest of the league wasn't.
Yeah.
At no point,
Someone fell to you.
Right. At no point was it like, oh man, that guy that we loved, someone else loved.
Well,
and so
maybe it's a misspeak because what you're explaining doesn't make logical sense.
No, it does.
That he had 10 and he went 10 for 10.
That is what he said happened.
I know I'm trying to give him some grace.
I'm just saying, he's a very smart guy, obviously. I'm a little anxious about it. Trent Baalke wasn't good. Now James Gladstone seems to be, I don't know.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm not really worried about the team because I think they got the head coach right in Liam Cohen. I think this is more on Trevor. Okay, Trevor, we're not going to just throw all these resources at you because we've done that. They've provided Trevor with quite a bit. Etienne when they drafted him, and obviously Brian Thomas Jr. and obviously
what's going on with him?
Travis, all these other players. So I don't think they had a terrible draft. I think they drafted for depth, and knowing what that Liam Cohen was able to do I think they were 3-14 the year before, and to go 13-4, or 4 whatever the record was.
4-13.
4-13, and then
So
13-4.
Yeah.
You trust that, and so it's we got to keep players in here to where we can have depth. I thought they drafted for depth.
And their first pick was 55th,
yes.
right? So in the second round. Look, I'm willing to give him a shot. The team is pretty good right now, and we will see. But when you are smug, if it doesn't work out, you can be out of there and rub people the wrong way.
Right.
So, I'm just saying.
Coming up next,
give him a shot.
Are the Wolves, shorthanded Wolves, about to end Denver's season? That's next. A few hours away from Game 5 tonight in Denver. Wolves can end the Nuggets season. They're going to try to do it without Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo, who were both injured in the first half of Game 4. Ant's out a few weeks. Dante's Achilles recovery underway. Using Tatum's doctor, which is good news.
Yep.
Down a 3-1. Only 13 teams have ever done it. Joker's been on
the last two.
The last two squads. But there's a 95.6% chance that you lose. But again, this is a unique circumstance considering the stars are out. So from the Wolves' perspective, Brew, can Minnesota pull this off?
And for what it's worth, I don't know what this means, if anything. The 2 times Denver's done it, those were both in the bubble. So I don't know if that is different circumstance or whatever.
One was against Rudy.
Yeah.
Utah,
First one
Rudy.
was Utah, then Minnesota or the Clippers. Minnesota can still win this series. I think they will. If you put a gun to my head and I had to pick a team, I would think they can figure out how to get one of these
3.
You'd want to, 3, but you'd want to get one of the 2. They outscored Denver 73-52 after Edwards got hurt. They were down 5 when he got hurt in the second quarter. So that's good for them. And the thing is this, Denver's problem has not, as bad as they are defensively, and with Jaden McDaniels calling them out, we've all focused on that. They defensively, look, they have held Minnesota to a worse offensive rating than during the regular season. The regular season, Minnesota's offensive rating was 117. It's been 113 during this series. Minnesota averaged 118 points during the regular season, only 112 during this series. The problem for Denver has been they have been shut down by Minnesota's defense. We know what what Rudy has done to Joker, shut him down inside. He's not hitting threes. But we know Denver was like one of the best offenses ever, if not the best offensive rating-wise. 122.6, number 1 in the league. They have been 106 offensive rating in this series. They average 122 points a game in the regular season, 105 in this series. Jokic is shooting below 40%. Jamal is below 40%. So they got to get their offense going. And without Anthony and DiVincenzo, Minnesota still can play hellacious defense. So that is the issue. They have to somehow find a way to get their offense going against this defense.
I think their championship is, if not tonight, then in Game 6. They know that they're drawing dead without Dante and without a fully healthy Anthony Edwards. And like, you know what? Let's just beat our rivals, and that's a successful season, and injuries derailed us.
So you think they will?
I think so.
So I think they definitely can. I think that if they don't do it tonight, though, they won't.
That makes sense.
So I think
they win Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's at home, because the question to me is going to be exactly what you alluded to. Has Denver figured out some solve for Minnesota's defense? And if they have, I think the series is over because Minnesota, if Denver solves what's been bedeviling them when Denver has the ball, with these injuries, Minnesota doesn't have the offensive firepower to hang. And so it would be, if they were healthy and Denver all of a sudden has a great offensive game, you could see, all right, well, Minnesota can score 120 as well. Right. I don't think they realistically can without their starting backcourt. Because Ant wasn't playing great, which is one of the reasons Minnesota's offense was not up to levels in the regular season. Dante's so important for floor spacing, all of it. This is a very unique circumstance, though, for Joker, where because of the injuries, it is expected to come back from 3-1 down. Yeah. It was expected not to be in this position, and now it is expected to come back from 3-1 down, and that's just the first, The question is, did this series end both of these teams' championship aspirations? And the answer to that might be yes.
Live from New York, it's first things first, overtime. Today, how concerned should Danny Parkins be about his Cavs?
Yeah.
Well,
a long weekend,
not a great weekend
in Toronto, and then a 1 p.m. Sunday start, shockingly, didn't work well for James Harden. Who could have seen that one coming?
He looked a little tired.
Who could have seen that one coming?
How should Patrick Mahomes feel about the Chiefs drafts? A lot of defensive guys, but he did end up signing the next Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, we got
that
Calvin
surprised
Johnson.
me. Yeah, it changed my opinion.
Didn't even have to spend a pick on it.
I found out he was getting the new Megatron.
Yeah. And finally, did the Cowboys just nail the draft? We hear from Jerry Jones. Very interesting quote. Alongside Chris Broussard, Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright, Parkins. How was your weekend and your Cavs pick, your Rockets picks?
I had a lovely weekend, but
Good.
it had nothing to do with my sports predictions. My sports predictions have been not going great.
Can I overshare for a moment?
Sure.
Danny went to a delightful, high-end, all-you-can-eat sushi place.
I heard him talking about this.
And then at the end, took advantage of the policy and got 20 additional pieces of their most expensive piece.
What?
And took a picture of it and ate it. And he was like, took full
What type
advantage.
of high-end sushi place?
No, it was.
All you can eat.
Yeah.
High-ish end. It was. It wasn't like Michelin starred, but it wasn't a hole-in-the-wall place. It was a place that I'm sure was texting about him afterwards.
48 extra pieces.
48 extra pieces.
As long as you finish it within the 90 minutes, you're good.
What is it, like a contest?
It doesn't sound high end.
It was. I saw it. I
Sound
know
like
it
they
was.
were
It was
begging
nice.
people
And I'm
to get out
telling
the door.
Show outing?
And I'm telling you,
Show outing.
I'm always down for a show out.
We got to train.
I'm telling you.
We can't have that much mercury. All right, we're starting at Houston. Kevin Durant watches the Rockets
It's
avoid
good to see him smile.
a sweep. Yeah, he had a
It's
blast.
a real heartwarming story.
Shingun gave a motivational speech, responded with 19 points, shot 50% from the field. LeBron had a pretty bad game, but hey, the guy's been carrying the team for 3 games. I can give him an off day. Danny, you had the Rockets sweeping the Lakers.
Sure did.
Do you still believe they can pull this off? Not the sweep, that's gone, but do you think they can win?
Little preamble.
Okay.
Sure.
I have gotten everything to get wrong about this series wrong. If we would have done a show on Saturday, I would have picked the Lakers to sweep the Rockets.
Oh,
Okay?
no, they weren't
so,
gonna sweep.
So, and I did not need to admit that to you guys, but it takes courage to admit when you're extra wrong. I am 0 for 4 in predictions.
That
so
doesn't count.
So take what I'm saying, a private wrong, well, just with a grain of salt. Yeah, the Rockets can win. They
The series?
They can win the series.
They
Believe the
still
Rockets can come. Yes, they can. They can.
Explain.
There is a specific formula. Well,
one that doesn't involve
retiring?
injuries.
No.
Right, injuries or retirement.
Luke Kennard has already had his crazy game.
Correct.
Marcus Smart has already had his crazy game.
That's true.
Yes, plural. Rui has punched above his weight class.
Rui had a crazy quarter. He had 16 in the first quarter of Game 3.
Right, and in all 3 of those games, Marcus Smart was right out of the gate, Kennard was right out of the gate, Rui was right out of the gate. Let the Lakers play with a bit of a cushion. The Rockets have held the Lakers to 21 or fewer points in 6 of the last 8 quarters. Their defense is getting better. LeBron has 8 turnovers in back-to-back games.
It's Harden-esque.
And if they steal this Game 5, we just saw the Lakers and LeBron look sluggish with 1 day of rest. This Game 5 is Wednesday. Then there would be 1 day off of travel back in Houston, 1 day off of travel back in LA, so the extra rest ends after Game 5.
Sounds great.
So if the Rockets can win Game 5, that would be 2 in a row. Then it's short rest for the 41-year-old superstar the rest of the way. That is the formula for the Rockets making me only mostly wrong, not entirely wrong.
Hold on, wait, but that was, and you didn't finish the thought though.
Yeah, they got to keep going.
And then they win a game. We didn't say can they force a Game 7.
Well, then they'd have to win that game too.
Yeah.
Well, which again would be on
Is
short rest.
Durant
is my
back
point.
in your little fantasy world?
No.
He doesn't even want Durant back.
Listen, at this point with Kevin Durant, I think a lot of the narratives have gotten a little ridiculous, if I'm being totally honest. Like, he had a serious knee bruise of which he had a brace on, where we were all watching that video and like, wow, that doesn't look good. Came back and played in game 2, missed game 3, got injured, and is now out and was back on the bench in game 4. I just believe these guys want to play.
I believe you want to.
I am not a conspiracy theory. Joel Embiid comes back. Anthony Edwards is now out for multiple weeks with an injury. Like I don't.
Yeah,
think
but none of that explains Durant not being on the bench. I don't think
it doesn't. But I don't. He was on the bench in game 4 and he gutted through game 2 when he was clearly having issues. Like I don't think Kevin Durant doesn't want to be there for his team.
So I think Durant wants to play. I don't know how much he wants to play for the Rockets, moving forward. I guess we'll see. But you're saying they don't, for your prediction, they wouldn't need to happen.
The defense isn't getting better.
Here's the biggest reason why the Rockets can't come back. And people, listen, I'm just letting America know right now, it will get to by Wednesday morning, it will be a fever pitch of, if the Lakers lose, they're going to lose the series. People are going to treat Game 5 as if it is a double elimination game. That if the Rockets lose, the series is over, and if the Lakers lose, the series is over. I guarantee that train is coming down the tracks. And my answer as to why the Rockets can't come back and why the Lakers can lose Game 5 and be totally fine is very simple. LeBron James is not going to be the first and only player ever to lead a team to blow a 3-0 lead. It's not going to happen. I have no deeper analysis needed other than what is not going to happen is LeBron is going to have it be on the table of possibilities that his final playoff moments in this league is the first guy ever to be on the bad end of a 3-0 comeback. It's not happening. So I don't know if Luke Kennard's going to play great, or if Reed Shepherd's going to go for 20, or if Bron's going to dig deep and have one more unbelievable game. What I do know is, whether it's Wednesday, Friday, or if it has to happen Sunday, one of those games, LeBron James's team is leaving victorious. There is no amount of money I wouldn't bet on that happening. How it happens, I'm not sure, but it's happening.
Yeah, I am with Nick. I don't see it happening. They could win Game 5. And look, you painted a good scenario. Like, if you want to be an optimistic Rockets fan, that was you did a good job with that. Really. If they win Game 5 and then they have to play on a 1 day's rest, it could affect LeBron. So I hear you on that. There's just no way, and I said this when they were up 2-0, there's no way I see LeBron losing 4 of the next 5 games. Mm-hmm. And there's no way I see him losing 3 straight to this.
4 straight it would have to be.
4 straight to this jolly band.
Well, that's the other thing that I was curious. Have you liked how the Rockets have looked this series?
Not particularly.
They look they look.
I'm trying to get mad at the front office. That's
you're mad at Raphael Stone.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, Raphael
needs to.
He's had a rough. It's been rough for him.
Go ahead, let's hear
Jose
it.
Alvarado was available.
Yeah. Loves Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, I don't know the rules, might still be available.
Can you get him in
he's got a Rockets jersey.
Isaiah Thomas offered on the OT last week. He was like, I can get you 15.
Can run the show.
I'll tell you this one.
Lonzo Ball was available. D'Angelo Russell's always available at all times to come in and help a team. The end of that game
that's real.
was on Raphael Stone. And we were always talking about play Reed Shepherd. Ime needs to play Reed Shepherd. What does Ime have against? Oh, I get it now. I got it.
I mean, Reed was huge in Game 4.
Great. How about Game 3?
The end of Game 3 is pretty mortifying.
Not a point guard,
up
though.
6 with 30 seconds left, and you lose. That's another piece of it.
Right?
I said 6 of the last 8 with 21 less. It's 4 of the last 6. But this series so easily could be 2-2.
But you don't think that if the Rockets won Game 3, the Lakers would have had the same game effort in Game 4?
No, I don't. But I do think that it is at least on the board based on how LeBron played in Game 4.
Yeah,
you could say it should be 2-2.
Yes.
It easily could or should be 2-2. And as the series goes, the shorter rest, I think it's totally reasonable to say, as unbelievable as LeBron is, as great as he is,
it's reasonable.
1 day off
but
with
remember,
travel,
Reeves you would think will
that's
be
the
back
other thing.
too.
Reeves,
Well, we'll see how
trying
he
to-
looks
I don't
in
know
his
if they were
first
just
game back.
games.
He'll be better than
$20
Laravia.
Rockets.
I'll tell you this much: if they just be like, Laravia, your
Laravia
minutes
is
are
not
going to
good.
Austin Reeves, that's an upgrade. I promise you, that's an upgrade. I also think that it is, yes, blowing a 6-point lead in the final 30 seconds is aberrant. But the Rockets not executing down the stretch of games for a team that's 1-8.
brand.
What are they? 1-8 in overtime.
Yeah,
That-
they're
going into it, they were 1-8, I think.
Oh, okay. And that's not shocking.
They need to win comfortably because if it's
Of
close,
course.
they're not going to win.
And they're not going to blow. This thing has been over.
You
And
know
the
it's
moment it's over.
You gave a good
Nick,
try.
Leave Rockets. What's the next word there? Can.
Can.
Yeah, it's can. They can. I'm not
They
saying they
can,
will.
and
They
I'm
can.
saying they can.
All right, they can.
Probably. All right, let's check in on Danny's Cavs.
Okay.
Knotted up at 2 games apiece
From
with
one
the Raptors.
great pick to the next.
When are we
Yeah,
talking
I'm not mad.
Thunder?
Double overtime.
When are we talking Pistons and Magic? I was all over that.
Here's
Knicks
James
Hawks.
Post game.
Obviously, they didn't shoot the ball well. We didn't shoot the ball well. Too many turnovers. But with all that being said, we still had opportunities where we're up, and we just gotta hold in and get stops and get rebounds, and get a good shot on the glass. And I think if we do that, then it's a different outcome. So think about it. It's 2-2 now. It's the best of 3. Our way.
Okay, Danny, how do you feel about your Cavs? Is it panic time?
No, why are they his Cavs? He didn't just pick them to win this series.
I picked them to win the
He picked
East.
them to win the
Yeah, I picked them to win the
That
East.
makes it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Puts it in context.
It's a good
Let's get the
community
full
note. It's a
context.
good
Sorry.
community note on the Cavs. Here's what I'll say. No, panic, no. That was a very ugly basketball game, Game 4. It was the first time since 2015 in a playoff game where neither team reached 40 points in a half. It was the lowest field goal percentage for a winning team in a playoff game in like 50 years. That was an incredibly ugly basketball game. And I know James Harden had a lot of turnovers.
Did it look like he was putting a lot of effort in after the turnovers, like getting back on defense?
It was not a great effort from James Harden, though I thought there actually were stretches of time where, and arguably among the Big Four, that he was still, even in that game, the best of the Big Four. Because who's the best player on the Cavs?
It's supposed to be Donovan Mitchell.
He was awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Now, Brew, you and I talked about this, I think, more off the air than on the air. I expected Evan Mobley to be the 2. I've loved Evan Mobley since then. He has plateaued. Let's just look at, because I know Nick's got the Harden corner covered for how bad he's been in his playoff history. Let's look at the other 3 guys and how they've been in those games in Toronto.
This is 75% of a Big Four.
In Toronto.
Those are the 2 games in Toronto.
The 2 games in Toronto.
Yeah.
No one has showed up. All I'm saying, this is preemptive, because I know you're going to put this all on
No, I'm
James
not going to put
Harden.
it all on James Harden. I'll put it all on you for calling these guys a Big Four. Jared Allen averages 7.5 points. We have a bottom line where it says Allen 3 points.
Here's what I would like.
He didn't get hurt. Evan Mobley 8 points.
He's clearly hurt.
But
Jared Allen, hey, jump.
Evan Mobley, who you've been, ever since you bet Evan Mobley to win Rookie of the Year 5 years ago,
robbed.
you've been convinced he's going to be Kevin Garnett.
He's completely robbed of that bet.
How could you not, when you were so confident in this series,
they're going to win in 6.
How did you not do the math on, oh man, James Harden's going to have 4 straight days in Toronto? And it's going to culminate.
It's a fun city.
It's going to culminate in a 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon start.
Should have thought of that.
I mean, of course it's panic time. Not for the series. I don't think Toronto's good enough to win 4 out of 5 against Cleveland.
I do not.
But we all picked Cleveland to win this series. Yeah. The reason we beat Danny up about the Cavs is not because he thought they could win round 1. It's because he thought they could. Do you have them beating Boston in the conference finals?
Yeah, I sure do.
Yeah, beating Detroit, then beating Boston in the conference finals.
If Detroit gets there.
And this is not a team that you can trust for 6 weeks. And you're right, I do have the Harden stuff covered. Because I tried to tweet about this weekend, and the community notes folks came after me. So I said, no, this is accurate. Now, my tweet was a little fast and loose, but here it is. Games 3 and 4 added this list. By the way, this hurt my heart. I had to add one to LeBron's total from Game 4. Career playoff games, at least as many turnovers as field goals. My tweet said more. This is as many or more. So my apologies. 44 for James Harden. But that's not where it ends.
Here we go.
So James Harden just had 15 turnovers in a 2-game playoff span. Since he came in the league, that's happened 17 times. He's got 7 of them, Danny. Every other player in the league is combined for 10. Again, one of them was LeBron, games 3 and 4.
Yeah.
He's a ball-dominant guard.
It's happened 7 times to him, 10 times to the rest of the league, and he's been in the league a long time.
Yeah, make a shot, Donovan Mitchell. Catch the ball, Jared Allen.
And then there is the Big Four element, which is in the critical game of the series, the game that if you win, it's over. You go back home up 3-1. That's the combined numbers for the Big Four. 50, 32 rebounds, 14 assists on smooth 31-28 splits. Against a team, by the way, that nobody thinks is that good in Toronto. Usually when we talk about games, we're like, we should talk about the winning team first. Nobody broached that with the Raptors because nobody thinks the Raptors are a real threat.
So, no one other than me talks really about Evan Mobley on national TV. Jared Allen, I put him in the Big Four. He's coming back from the knee injury. James Harden is what he is historically. We can disagree on some of it. Donovan Mitchell needs to be better.
Yes.
Like Donovan Mitchell is the best player in this series.
He's
by
generally good in the playoffs.
Correct.
Yeah.
And by a comfortable margin, Donovan Mitchell is the best player in the series. He needs to have an awesome Game 5. I'm talking 40 points.
First of all,
he needs to win that basketball game.
With Harden, that thing you showed, Nick, is clearly mental. Clearly. For that to happen, it clearly is either he gets shook in these big games and playoff games, or he's kicking it, hanging out, whatever it is, but he's not ready.
Can I just give before you go on, a third option?
Yeah.
Because he is an Iron Man, right? He plays big minutes and doesn't do a lot of load management. That combined with his love of the nightlife, do you think that it's possible that every year, by the end of the year, he's a little worn out? Because he is not, I think it's fair to say, he is burning it at both ends on a historic level, producing in the regular season on a historic level, doing all that. And by the time that plus the mental piece, all of it, I think that's a piece of it.
That's fair. And it pains me to say this, one of my hometown teams, and Cleveland is a tough, rugged city. Oh, yeah. The Cavs are soft. Wow. They're a soft team. I mean, physically, they're. Every postseason, we see them get kind of pushed around, and their two bigs, as good as they are thin. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, they're not really tough inside. What's happened in these 2 games in Toronto is Toronto start getting physical. And look at Toronto, Scotty Barnes. I know they're not that tall. R.J. Barrett. They got guys that can get physical with you, and that's what they've done. That's why I picked them to lose to Detroit, Cleveland, in the next round. And if Orlando beats Detroit, they're a physical team too. So I think that's Orlando's challenge.
Trying to get on my magic corner.
I think Detroit's going to win. I'm just saying. Orlando gets physical.
Wemby is back. Spurs came back from a double-digit deficit, now up 3-1. Parkins, you were big on the Thunder championship being a foregone conclusion. Has Wemby swayed you at all?
So listen, the Spurs winning 4 or 5 in the regular season is something, and Wemby, I've always said, maybe we just have to throw out the rule book when talking about him. Maybe the 7'5" alien that shoots threes, maybe it's just entirely different. The second half of that game is the scary point for the Thunder and everyone else. Because the second half of that game, the comeback, it's just maybe they're the best. Maybe they're the best team. Yeah.
Maybe that's never happened, right? 38 points.
I'm about to show it. Yeah, okay. It is for a team that was trailing by as much as they were to then have a lead as large as they did. It is the biggest by a considerable margin in playoff history. In terms of you were trailing by more than 15 at the half. You came back and you ended up having a 21-point lead. It's crazy. And yeah, the plus 38 in the second half is also up there with the biggest ever. So it's just they flipped a switch, and we saw what Dylan Harper did the game before. Shows that he now has that in him already. Love him for the present and the future. De'Aaron Fox looked like an all-star. Castle's Castle. So yeah, when they lock in and play their A game, it represents probably the highest ceiling of anybody. It's just a question of how often they can get to it, given how young they are.
I love the experience they're getting because I credit Portland with giving them a tough series and the adversity of Wemby getting hurt. They've had to overcome that. So the inexperience that we were all wondering, even me, is that going to come to haunt them at some point? They're gaining experience. Look, I have seen in my 3 decades of covering this league, teams own a team in the regular season and then get owned by them in the playoffs. So that's always on the board. But we know that OKC, at a certain point, they played 5 times this year. By the 3rd game, they were like, all right, let's show these dudes what time it is. And they still got beat 2 out of the next 3. And Wemby was only able to play part-time in those games because of injuries, and he was a plus 50. And I also wonder if they're in OKC's head a little bit. Probably not SGA, but Jalen Williams was asked about why they can't beat them. He said they got a 7'5" guy that, is in there. I would definitely think Wemby is in Chet's head. And so that series, OKC is a phenomenal team. So it will be, I would think, a good series. But, yeah, San Antonio obviously can beat them. We just want to see, was the regular season really what this is with these 2 teams? Or is OKC going to make it different in the playoffs?
You think your buddy Sam Presti is pretty bummed about what's happened in Minnesota, Denver? Because I do.
Because you would want the Nuggets to give the Spurs more of a series?
Or beat them.
I think that Presti, the reason I'm saying Presti is because he's far enough removed. I think the coach and the players are just focused on the here and now.
Of course.
But Presti's kind of 360-degree view, saw this bracket went, and was like, listen, we can beat anybody. But the idea of Denver taking care of the Spurs for us, or early in that Timberwolves series when it looked like, the Timberwolves maybe could take care of Denver and the Spurs for us. And I think Oklahoma City is very comfortable with Minnesota because it's like you're kind of just a slightly worse version of us.
I don't
know
think
what I mean?
Minnesota can't beat the Thunder.
That's what not presently constituted, but I also think even fully healthy, I don't think they could.
Correct.
Because I just think it's too much. Gobert is not as useful for them against the Thunder, and it's the young athleticism.
Correct.
Minnesota's got, or Oklahoma City's got more. So I do think that the Thunder, they're healthy, Jalen Williams notwithstanding, we think he'll be back by the conference finals, we would imagine. And they're up 3-0, but they're probably a little bummed how the rest of the bracket is falling. You know what I mean? Where it is looking like it's going to be a Spurs.
You did a lot of Spurs compliments.
They're good.
We've seen Wemby in the playoffs.
But you're like, foregone conclusion that this is Thunder.
I'm still picking the Thunder. I still think they will win, but the Spurs are really good.
There is no bass in your voice.
No, he's
no bass.
Really?
You're like one toe down.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Overtime. Greg Jennings and Willie Colon out here. Let's go to Pittsburgh. We've been there before. The draft was just there. The Steelers, well, they got a new face in the quarterback room, and no, it is not because Aaron Rodgers decided to show up for work, but instead they drafted Drew Allar with the 76th pick in the draft. Head coach Mike McCarthy talked about what led to that decision. Take a listen.
It's about the quarterback room. I've always approached it that way. I learned it that way as a young coach. It's about training the whole room together. And we had an opportunity to get on the field last week for 2 days, with Mason and Will, and now we had Drew. So this is the goal. This is the outlook. We want to have a healthy, quarterback room that we're always developing. We're always developing. It's the most important position, maybe in sports.
All right, Mr. Steeler. There are a lot of ways you could take it. A lot of ways you could read it.
Yep.
You hear the name called for your team. What are you thinking?
I didn't mind it. I honestly didn't. It made sense to me. I don't think it means anything towards the return or not return of Aaron Rodgers, honestly. His stats out of college, his college career won't wow you, But I think a lot of people feel because he didn't have a stellar college career, it was due to the fact that he had 2 offensive coordinators. He was a part of 2 systems and really couldn't really optimize what he can do best. I mean, he's 6'5". has big arm. I like it from this standpoint. From the Steelers' standpoint, they have to continue to be responsible. They have to continue to draft a quarterback. Hopefully, Mike McCarthy's superpower comes into formation, right? His superpower is supposed to be, develop young quarterbacks, and this is an investment. So I don't mind it. Even with Aaron Rodgers coming back, my mind turns towards the fact that they can hopefully get a solid number 2 out of Will Howard or Drew, because my time as a Steeler, we had Charlie Batch, we had Byron Leftwich, and we had at times when Ben, even with the Cape, would get dinged, we had a solid number 2 that can carry the offense. So now you talk about these guys growing up in Mike McCarthy's offense with or without Aaron Rodgers, this stabilizes the offense. So I don't mind it, honestly. It is what it is.
Look, they had to do it. You got to go get a quarterback. You don't have currently on your roster what you feel strongly about as the future face of your franchise. You feel like you have a couple individuals that you can develop and see what happens. But right now, you don't feel like you have your future franchise or going into the draft. And maybe he turns into that, but not a single player in this draft or in any draft is a finished product. Everybody has to develop. Everybody has to continue to grow. And when you are Mike McCarthy and you are credited as a quarterback guru, this is your time to shine. You take a very talented, high potential type of a player in Drew Allar, who we know has athletic ability. He can throw the ball. He can make every and any throw on the football field that needs to shore up his footwork. He talked about that, improving it from obviously the combine to his pro day, and that will only hopefully get better as they continue to work together. But if you're the Steelers and you don't make a quarterback draft pick and you are just going into this season saying it's Will Allard or Will Howard or Mason Rudolph, and we're just hoping Aaron Rodgers come back,
okay, so
I don't think you can do that.
All right, so then it is tied somewhat to Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you guys will say I'm a conspiracy theorist or that I'm putting on the tinfoil hat here.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay, they said, ownership on down, months ago, they expected to hear from Rodgers before the draft. Did the draft happen?
Yes.
The draft did happen.
Have they heard from Aaron Rodgers?
Doesn't look
have
like
not
it.
heard.
And then they used a third-round pick on an in-state quarterback who last year people thought he could be a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nothing. Talk to Steelers fans. They like Mason Rudolph. Talk to Steelers fans. They kind of like Will Howard, at least the idea of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if they knew with 100% certainty that Aaron Rodgers was coming back, Will Howard's your young developmental piece. Mason Rudolph's the guy who can learn a system and be a veteran backup. And Aaron Rodgers is your starter.
Yeah, but
on some level, does this not register to you guys as a little bit of insurance in case Aaron Rodgers surprises everybody and doesn't come back?
I definitely think this is insurance, but I still think that even with the knowledge of Aaron Rodgers coming back, they still go ahead and draft a quarterback. And I still think going into the next year's draft, they will draft their quarterback. I think right now, and you heard Mike McCarthy say it right there, if they got a core of young quarterbacks developing together underneath one system, it only benefits the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I don't think it's so much about Aaron Rodgers. Instead, it's looking at this quarterback room that is a myriad of talent that they can say, hey, man, we sit you underneath this coach. One of you guys is going to pop for us. Hopefully you can be the guy that can carry us for a couple years.
Yeah, look, I think they were just trying to – it is tied to Aaron Rodgers. It's definitely tied to Aaron Rodgers. If you know Aaron Rodgers is coming back, I don't know if you spend
you do.
See?
I actually do think you still possibly
you still go
after a quarterback.
Correct.
I don't
Listen,
know.
I know
Maybe
Ron
you don't
Wolf
do it
said
on the third
Ron
round.
Wolf said you do it every year. I get it, but it hit me as something that they use that pick on that guy in particular.
So you don't think he's coming back?
No, I think the smart money is that he's coming back. Mike Tomlin said over the weekend he thinks he's coming back.
He did.
But he didn't say he knows he's coming back. And I'm just saying, this is the action of a team that is potentially without a starting quarterback. Potentially. Let's go to Kansas City real quick. Very smart man, and I wish the script said handsome, but they just said smart. Said that the Chiefs owe it to Mahomes to go get him some help in the draft. Well, they used their first 4 picks on the defensive side of the ball. Then they took running back Emmett Johnson, wide receiver Cyrus Allen in the 5th round. Later agreed to terms with wide receiver Jeff Caldwell, who he went undrafted. But how about this comp? I was like, oh, an undrafted free agent. Didn't think it would make the show on a Monday. Apparently, his raw athletics score, best since Calvin Johnson. That's the comp, athletically. Okay, I gotta be honest, I'm looking at the Chiefs draft a little differently if they got Megatron 2.0. But Greg, how do you think Mahomes should feel with resources going defense, and we'll just say late round dart throws or undrafted guys for his offensive side of the ball?
So I'm going to try to literally be what I was when I watched our drafts when I was playing, and knowing that we want to get better on both sides of the ball. They addressed what we knew they needed to address defensively. So if you're Patrick Mahomes and you're watching this draft, you're like, man, okay, we had to do that. Okay, where's my guy? Where's the guy for me? And you don't see it happen. Then you start to go back to, what did we do in free agency? Well, we extended Thornton. We brought in a running back in Kenneth Walker. We understand that there are voids that they did fill, that they did support on this offensive side of the ball. Now it's a matter of, can these other guys that we've had on our roster, last year it was Hollywood Brown, who suffered injury during his tenure there, Xavier Worthy as well, Rashee Rice, just the lack of availability and the continuity consistently that they did not have on that offensive side of the ball. If they can just get that, this team is going to be okay. You had to address what you did not absolutely have anywhere on your roster defensively. You have receivers. You have skill guys. You went out and acquired a running back. So you're telling your offensive side of the ball, we're going to establish our running game this year, and it's going to hopefully help us unlock who we can be and who we want to be in the passing game as well.
Yeah, I think good franchises know who their guy is and they understand what their mold is and they go get it. I think you get Emmett Johnson, who led the Big Ten in rushing, who's a complete back, who's going to be a great addition to the running back room. And then you got the kid, Cyrus Allen, who I think his superpower, he can win on the outside. He can get separation, and he can beat man coverage. So you talk about Patrick Mahomes being happy, you got guys who can fill roles, and when you get into the middle of the season and guys start getting dinged, you can lean on these young fellas, and hopefully they can deliver for you. But I have no problems with what the Chiefs did.
I get it. Draft for need, go based on your board, take the best player available in terms of best player available at a position of need. Rashee Rice better stay on the straight and narrow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they have names that we like, that whether it's size with Xavier Worthy or off-field and injury with Rashee Rice, it's just Travis Kelce's age. I would have liked an influx of a high-end pass catcher for him at some point, but maybe Kenneth Walker is going to be the big ad on the offensive side of the ball, which they absolutely needed.
And they ever since Tyreek Hill, they have tried to piece this thing together to ensure that their offense doesn't just really thrive based on one skill guy. Now, obviously, you got to have the quarterback, so we know the heartbeat is Patrick Mahomes. But it can't just be Travis Kelce any longer. It has to be a collective, and that's what they're going for.
All right, well, the day after a draft, people try to grade it. We're not going to do that. We're going to tell you who's the class of the draft so you can mock us when we're wrong with it coming up in about 3 years. Coming up on the OT. So the NFL draft has come and gone. 32 teams, 257 selections over 3 days. So we now introduce you to class or pass. 2 of us have experience as a player during the draft. No way to tell. All right, boys. First up, the class of the draft. The one who didn't play. Oh, right there. Boom. The Dallas Cowboys. I loved what they did. And Caleb Downs is obviously a huge piece of it. Like, identity for a defense, top 5 player in the draft, maybe not the most significant position, but just fills a need, starts right away, great player and all of that. But 5 of your 7 picks are on the defensive side of the ball. You use a draft pick that you trade to the Niners for a linebacker who had over 100 tackles last year. Best player available at a position of need. Like, this draft wasn't cute. They move around a spot or 2, but still get their guys in the rounds. And it's like you said, we have an offense that with Pickens and CD and Dak and all of our investments on the offensive line and Ferguson and the run game that we found last year, like, we have an offense that can be the best in football.
Elite offense, by the way.
It can be the best in football.
Right.
Defense held us back. So let's throw all our resources on the defensive side of the ball. I thought this was sensible.
No qualms out of me. I thought it was a home run. I think Caleb Downs shocked him too, landing and was because I thought he was going to get picked up by the Chiefs. The fact that he landed to the Cowboys, I was like, oh, this is a home run.
Yeah, look, you got your safety, you got your edge rusher with your first 2 picks. You started day 1 winning already. The rest is just, okay, how can we continue to improve and get better? And they did that.
All right, Willie, who's your class of the draft?
Oh, it's the New York Jets there, DP. They got tougher, younger, and cheaper.
3 first-round picks helps.
Listen, invalid. I know for every Jet fan out there, yeah, Willie, we've been here before. It didn't work out. But okay, it's a new year. Let's think positive. I think getting David Bailey, who's more of a polished pass rusher, solid. I love the fact that he went to Stanford, so it shows you got a brain upstairs. Transferred over to Texas Tech, had 14 sacks, had a big senior year. Love that about him. He's going to develop well. I think Keenan Sadiq is the guy that everybody's wild about. You talk about being 6'3", 245, ran a 4.3. He's a legit weapon. You can move him all over the field. He's a willing blocker. I said this before. When you draft a tight end, are you getting a receiver or are you getting a guy who's going to be an end of the line blocking? He can do both, and he's willing to do it. So he's going to be a legit weapon for Frank Wright. He's going to expand the playbook. And I think Omar Cooper, the Jets traded up and getting Omar Cooper, having him in the slot, but also having him on the outside. He's versatile. He's going to be a complete complement to Garrett Wilson. I think between Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Kenyon Sadiq, Mason Taylor, now you talk about Omar Cooper, the Jets should win about 7 to 8 games. I'm going to jump out there. You know if I'm going to swing, I'm going to swing for the fence. Come on, Jets. Shock the world.
That's
what's so
swinging for the fence?
Well, I was just going to say, what's so great about it is like he's all
We were 3-14 last year. Is
like,
that not swinging for the fences?
7 wins. Yeah.
How much you put it out there? 7 wins.
For a
Let's go,
7-10
baby. Shut up.
season and the 14th pick in the draft next year. Congratulations, Willie. That's a lot of excitement.
Look, my class, I'm going with the Cleveland Browns.
I like their draft
thought,
as well.
Look, they obviously new head coach. I thought it was a masterful job of just maneuvering on the draft board and still being able to get the pieces that you definitely wanted to get. Spencer Fano, like they knew they were going to be able to get him moving back from 6th to moving back to 9 from 6. So you're safe there. You get your franchise offensive tackle, and then your next 2 picks. Obviously, we know or we don't know who they're going to insert for sure at the quarterback position. But what we do know, they need additional weapons around that quarterback and on that offense side of the ball. So you get a young guy like KC Concepcion, an offense, a guy like Denzel Boston, an offense when you look at these numbers, last in receptions, last in receiving yards, last in receiving TDs. So you had to have an influx of wide receiver power and youth to add an element of excitement, if you will, even if you don't know who your QB1 is. So I really liked what they were able to do offensively. A lot of people probably were like, whoa, back-to-back wide receivers. Well, when you look at those numbers and those statistics, you got to have something outside of Jerry Jeudy. You don't know what you don't even know if Njoku is going to be coming back. You can get him, but you can't bank on that. What you can't bank on now is some young wide receiver power.
Now you just got to be bad enough that you can still get a good quarterback in next year's class.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's go to the pass. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. And as someone who's been known to have been accused of maybe being a little smug from time to time, I can recognize a smug draft when I've seen one. The Rams, taking Ty Simpson is insane. The rationale after the fact has not gotten any better.
Facts.
Sean McVay just being like, well, I just didn't want to be too excited about it because of Matt Stafford. I'm not buying any of it. I know you love to play a ton of tight ends, but then you go luxury pick there again. You had one premium pick, and you used it on a guy who will not play. It's just a pass for me. I thought, well, maybe it'll sit better with me. He has to be excellent, and you have to win a Super Bowl with Stafford, and you have to win a Super Bowl with Ty Simpson to justify this pick. I think it was completely insane.
For a team we consider to be like elite and always knocking on the door to win a Super Bowl, this felt irresponsible. It felt like somebody cashed in on an IOU, right? Like you're thinking about Devontae Adams being 35 years old, having hamstring issues, and you have a chance to get Mekhi Lemon, who can help you pretty much get you through the season because he's younger, fresher, and he's going to be a more developed receiver. I just felt like right now, if you're nothing Sean McVay or Les Snead can say can convince me that this isn't something behind the curtain we're just not privy to.
Wow.
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Even you can even go get defense and go get Ruben Bain or somebody else. So I don't know. I don't buy it. I didn't like it. Ty Simpson, best of luck to you.
Get someone who will play this year. All right, Willie, what class are you passing on?
Let's pass on the Tennessee Titans, man. Like, getting Cornell Tate, yeah, not good. Why? Because your quarterback was sacked 55 times last year, right? You didn't do anything. You didn't get an offensive lineman to the 5th round. That's not quality. I don't not knock on these guys, but nevertheless, man, I feel like they had an opportunity to address a big need early. And Cornell Tate is a number 2 receiver, right? Now you're expecting to be him to be a number 1 in Tennessee, and I just don't buy it, man. I felt like if you wanted a signature pin, you had a chance to get Downs, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and they blew it. They got Cornell Tate. So we'll see what happens, but I don't like it.
All right.
Well, you guys took 2 of the ones I was thinking, so I went and I looked at the Bears, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to pass on the Bears. And it's not, and I know, Danny, you're probably thinking I'm going to bash them. Look, I thought they did a great job of understanding what they needed to acquire depth, but when we looked at the glaring need of this team, universally, just with the 3 of us, we're like, well, they got to address the defensive front 7.
No question.
You got to do it.
No question.
And to not do that, look, they got some quality picks. You got to get a center. We talked about that with Bradbury, and you got to address the safety position. But to not get an edge, to not get a defensive lineman until the 6th round, to not address the linebackers, like it's frustrating if you are a Bear fan and you believe you have high expectations for this team, because this too is the team that you feel like they are a player or 2 away of, man, they're going to do this all over again, and they're going to continue to do it for years to come. So it was a little frustrating. Look, they got some quality. I thought quality
Thieneman looks
draft
like a
picks.
great player.
He's going to be really good.
Yeah.
He's going to be really good. I just felt like you can improve and increase his odds of being extremely impactful if you get somebody that can get after the quarterback.
I just know that they did not feel like there was an edge rusher worthy of the 25th pick or the pick where they took Jones. And so, like, if they could have traded up in the 1st round or the second, like package both 2nd round picks to move up, that's something they weren't willing to do. But the board just did not fall their way. And my guess is Jadeveon Clowney or DJ Reader, it's like one of those veterans is going to be a Bear before the season
You're
starts.
going to have to do it.
Yeah, they know that it is still a need, as much as they like to talk about liking Austin Booker. Coming up, big night in the NBA, including a shocking result so far in Denver and Minnesota. We talk about Game 5 next. To the association, though, tensions flared Saturday as this series goes on. These teams do not like each other. Good rivalry between Denver and Minnesota. Shocking result in that the Nuggets are down 3-1 heading back home tonight, but no Anthony Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo due to injuries, which makes this feel like a wide-open 3-1 series. Greg, do you expect the Nuggets to close the gap and get back into this thing against the shorthanded T-Wolves?
Yeah, I do expect them to close the gap. I mean, if you're the Joker, you can't allow them to be missing, obviously, their starting backcourt, excuse me, and then you don't do something to where you put yourself and your team back into this series. So I think they respond tonight.
No, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah?
I think the T-Wolves are bullying the hell out of them. The Nuggets have led
That is true.
at halftime in all 4 games. You think about how effective the Wolves are. Like, when you have Jokic and you have Jamal, they're not double-teaming those guys. Like, Rudy Gobert, Daniels, those guys are holding their own, where right now the Wolves feel like they have momentum and they feel like at this point, there's nothing that the Nuggets can throw at them that they can't handle, even without Edwards and DiVincenzo. So I think the Wolves are going to close this thing out. It's a wrap for the Nuggets.
Wow. Well, they're a 12-point, 11.5-point underdog tonight, so that's a bold bet, and I love it. Best player in the world title is up for grabs if Joker loses this series. It would be a mortifying first-round playoff exit for Joker, given how these injuries have gone.
All right. Go play with the horses. You'll be all right.
You know, listen, he
Right.
will be fine.
You'll be all right.
He loves his horses. I think Denver gets it, at least tonight, to extend the series. We're back tomorrow on the OT.